Alright, so boom. This video was supposed to come out sometime in May, but suddenly the Migos decided to announce Culture 3 and said it was coming out June 11th. I said, ain't no way I'm about to drop this ranking video and then these dudes decide to drop another album. So then the video becomes outdated immediately. I'd rather just wait. When I initially had this plan, the Migos were actually the first rappers I did this series on where I disliked more songs than I liked. But now that Culture 3 has came out, that's still the case. Yep, Culture 3 didn't put them on the positive side. I still dislike more songs than I like. The reason the amount of songs I dislike from them were so high to begin with is because of Culture 2. That project could have just been called like Skips the Album and it would have fit. Out of 24 songs from Culture 2, I only like 6. And I'm being serious when I say that, 6 out of 24. So a lot of songs that you will see in this part 1 is from there. I already know it's a diehard Migos fan watching this and already saying, this dude is bugging, that album was flames. With that being said, as always, for people who may be new to my channel watching this, I only talk about albums for this series. So this only ranks songs from Young Wish Nation, Culture 1, Culture 2, and Culture 3. I know they have way more and other well-known projects, but these 4 albums already added up to 71 songs that I had to listen to. So I wasn't going to add any more on top of that. I definitely have a lot of songs that I like from this group, but y'all gonna have to wait to part 2 to see what songs I enjoy. Right now, let's jump to the WAC tier. The WAC tier only has 2 songs in it. Out of all those 71 songs that I mentioned, only 2 of those songs I will say are flat out bad. They have many like mid songs, but songs that I will say are flat out garbage is only these 2 right here.
Pipe it up, 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 pipe it up.
Out of all the songs the Migos have where they're just repeating hooks to try to make something catchy, this song and the next song I'm going to talk about in the WAC tier are cases where it did not work at all. Hearing them say pipe it up 100 times irked my damn soul. I think they was trying to start a new slang term here because they was referring to pipe it up as meaning to turn up, to upgrade something, or obviously sleeping with women. But they say it so much to where you just think, like, I know y'all didn't expect this to catch on. Nobody says pipe it up in regards to anything. I walk in the club and I pipe it up. I stand on the stage and I pipe it up. Get a regular hotel or pipe it up. Go buy a bando, then I pipe it up. Pipe it up. Pipe it up. Like, damn. I'm not exaggerating either. They say pipe it up 24 times in each hook. Funny enough, in Takeoff's verse, he says, now remember, before we made this song, nobody said pipe it up. Next thing we dropping, we gon' fuck them up and have everybody screaming pipe it up. So they had hopes that people was going to continue saying this, and they failed miserably to me. This song is just annoying as hell, but the next song in this tier has a hook that's probably even worse.
I'm flooded, 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 flooded.
I'm flooded, 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 flooded. Now, like I said, these are the only 2 bad songs they have, and since Pipe It Up was on their first album, it was a long time that passed before I heard any more trash songs. So I was seriously taken aback when I heard Flooded. I heard this and went, ugh, like, goddamn, like, what is this? The bars don't help at all either, with the most notable bad one being Offset on the hook saying, I pull up on niggas like Huggies. Dude, if you have a bar about diapers, anything you say afterwards is invalid. I didn't like anything about this song at all. It actually caught me off guard on how bad it was. Easily the worst song on Culture 2. And, whew, even though it's the worst song, that album is still half filled with formulaic basic tracks. Just to warn y'all about something, this applies for the forgettable skip tier and the not for me tier. I have a good number of Migos' most popular songs in here. I promise y'all will see some songs and go, what? Like, damn, Amir, you don't like this song? That's one of their biggest hits. And these are my honest choices. Like, I've listened to all 52 of these songs multiple times, and even this fits a super popular track. Some of these I just shrugged and went, this song really isn't that good, man. But let me stop talking and just show y'all the skip tier songs. Literally the first one is going to catch a lot of you off guard.
Hey. Slippery, wall, excuse me, please me, please. Believe me.
Y'all can dislike me all y'all want for this, but this song was boring the shit out of me. There was no energy from none of the 4 people on this song. But a song like Slippery is like, you reach a point where of course you get used to Migos rapping about the same thing. Bitches, act, cookie, and whatnot. So I be hoping there's other things I can look towards as a highlight, like a fire beat or a catchy hook, like something. But Slippery doesn't have any of those things. I was listening to Slippery and thinking, how is this one of their most popular songs? This is boring as hell.
Chanel like CC, upgrade a bitch from BB. If she see money, she go get it.
So yeah, I didn't like any of the Migos and Gucci collabs from the Migos projects. Even though I didn't like Slippery either, I would take Guwap's verse on there than his verse here on CC. His flow just sounded so unorthodox. I had to rewind it a few times, like, why does this sound so off? CC is lumped in that group of every other forgettable song from Culture 2. They just unfortunately added Gucci on here, so now there's a stain of another feature that couldn't save a track. Speaking of features not being able to save tracks, yeah, Kokiano and Young Thug was not it either. I know I made a video saying I have no interest in listening to Thugger's music and that his voice gets on my nerves, but that has nothing to do with Kokiana. I just really think either him or the Migos weren't that good. Actually, I did rock with Takeoff's verse. But Slime's verse and his ad-libs, yeah, in the background, I couldn't stand it. And the hook was just not hitting for me either. The record scratching got so fucking obnoxious on this song. Gangsta rap is back. Gang, like the verses were okay, but the hook, man, that hook made me completely not like this song. I wanted to like it so bad because I appreciated the old school feel, and I will admit it was very creative. But like I said, the effect done, they beat that shit to death. That definitely makes me not like the song at all. Took a trip to Cancun, Culture album coming soon. Another one. DJ Khaled's vocals were so loud and unnecessary on here, and on top of that, I just don't think this was a good enough opener to the Culture album. After this song was over, I was just glad to go to the second track. For such a goated project, I can honestly say they didn't start it off strong at all with this one right here. Fuck it, crown the king, band truck for the queen, GIA my ring. Even though it's going in the forgettable skip tier, Crown the King is a song that I wouldn't go out of my way to put on, but I wouldn't ask somebody to turn it off if they did play it. This song sounds cool. It's pretty smooth. There were no garbage bars or anything. At the end of the day, it's still a basic drip song. I would go past the song myself, but if I was hanging out with someone and asked them to put on some Migos and they played Crown the Kings, I wouldn't be mad at it. The song is cool enough. Crisscross jump, with a bell in the trunk. This is a song that I would ask somebody to turn off. And my specific reason is because this song is the exact same as Dead from Culture 1 with 2 Chainz. The atmosphere, like the vibe of the song, and even the flow on the hook, the ooh, da 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 da, ooh, da 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 da. Like this song is dead ass just a ripoff of Dead's. And I'm not saying this song being similar to Dead's automatically makes it trash or anything, but for me personally, I would rather just listen to Dead's because I felt like they already did what they was trying to do here, but better on their first album. My bitch way better than his bitch, yeah. We 2 players. Ha, speaking of 2 Chainz, unfortunately, he added nothing to this song. The highlight of 2 Player is the saxophone playing on the instrumental. It makes the song sound very smooth. But the instrumental is the only thing that wowed me, and it's the only thing I like here. Not even Titty Boy had a verse that made me laugh or think he did anything crazy. I would rather listen to the beat alone than listen to this whole song. Ooh, grandma on my ass, telling me, boy, you're moving too fast. Quavo did have a very cool sounding verse. His verse was cool, but his verse was the only highlight for me. The rest of this track, just hearing them talk about how their parents and whatnot told them they was living life too fast, but they think it was worth it because that's how they've been able to get all these Ferraris, bust down watches, and living life so lavishly. It's really just like a whatever song, and other than Quavo's verse, I don't think there's anything to check out here. I had no issues with Ty Dolla $ign and even Travis Scott, but Big Sean didn't need to be on this song at all. Like, his contribution was literally 30 seconds of filler. If you're a big Travis fan, then you're going to love his sound on here because it's the same as he always sounds. But someone like me who couldn't really care less about him, this song overall ended up not hitting. Takeoff had my favorite verse, but the entire song is not something I would come back to. She a little beast, she a little beast, she a little beast. You guys know how a person would be giving their critique on a long album and say something like, by the time I got halfway through it, I just started tuning it out and not even paying attention anymore. Everything became so basic. Beast from Culture 2 is the perfect example of a song fitting that definition. This album is 24 songs. The 12th one was White Sand that I just talked about, and 13 was that trash song Flooded I talked about in the whack tier. And then the 14th song is Beast. This is one of the most cliche, formulaic Migos songs you'll ever hear in your lifetime. And if you try to sit down and listen to Culture 2, this is a song by the time you get to it, as soon as it gets done playing, you're going to forget that it was even on. It's super forgettable. Brown, paper, bags, cash. Smashing your hoe on the low and she calling me dad. Considering I just got done talking about the Migos being formulaic, cliche, and you not missing out if you haven't heard it, I will say the same for Brown Paper Bag from Culture 1. After I heard this song, I legit just shrugged and went, alright, that was your everyday basic Migos track. Next.
Sing about post not on the ground, man, the leader. Whole gang in the field, we don't do bleachers.
With this being the second song on the album, I heard this and immediately went like, this must be why people say Culture 2 is a long, overdrawn mid-album, because Superstars was sleep-inducing. I told myself, if there's many songs like this, then I'm not looking forward to finishing this album. And unfortunately, that's what ended up happening. Culture 2 is a project where if you sit down and listen to it, it can legitimately make you mad and hurt you on how basic and boring it is. And Superstars is one of the songs that will cause it to do that. It's the second song on the project and it's already a skip, so they pretty much came out the gate messing up. Pocket, skirt it, everybody know we working, young niggas. Autopilot is actually a rare case of when Quavo's flow was actually getting on my nerves. Park it, heard that, everybody know we working, young nigga, still market. And that's the hook of the damn song, so I heard that multiple times. And unfortunately, there were no fire verses on here that would help me ignore Quavo's flow on the hook. I just don't return Autopilot at all. Definitely forgettable.
Come for your head like a liner, white, these diamonds albino, white.
Emoji or Chain made me realize that these dudes will make a song about the smallest thing, almost as if they would be normally talking and one of them will say something and they'll all be like, bet, like we making that into a song. This song is about them wanting to ice themselves out so much that they will go as far as to take an emoji like the 100 emoji, the diamond, or the leaf clover emoji and turn it into a chain. And that's the song. Like, I was just so blank faced when listening to this track. Like, they have so many songs that really won't evoke a reaction out of you, and Emoji or Chain is one of them. I don't know if this is the type of production Post Malone uses or if he typically sings this slow and dull, but considering he didn't have a verse, his voice drastically lowers the energy of Notice Me. The verses from the Migos were already nothing special, but when Post Malone comes back up, it's a vibe killer every single time.
Culture.
With this being the final song on Culture 2, you will have already fallen asleep multiple times by the time you get to Culture National Anthem. These people seriously tried to make a soft song to end off this boring ass album. Talking about, once again, how they do things for the culture, how they're a big part of the culture. Like, guys, we get it. This sound did not fit them at all, and yes, you heard me correct earlier. It's made even worse because it's the final song on this hour and 45 minute snooze fest.
Hold up. Get right with you. I'ma get right with you.
Y'all remember when I was talking about Slippery and I said, how is this one of their most popular songs? This is boring as hell. That just as much applies to Get Right With You also. The flow from all of the members made this song boring very quickly. Well, I did like Offset's flow, but Quavo was a no. And the beginning of Takeoff's verse, as much as Takeoff is a damn king and he be outshining the other two, I can't say that for his dull verse on Get Right With You. Pop me a missile. Take me a picture. Get right with you. Lit like Christmas. White like Tisha. Like, no. I'm not about to give this song points because it's one of their most well-known songs. Like, this song is an L and it's certainly overhyped.
Get so many donuts on them back streets. Sit so high in the nosebleeds.
This has always been one of the most overhyped Migos songs of all time to me. The beat is very forgettable. Quavo and Offset, they just lost me as soon as I heard them talking. As soon as I heard Offset come in with that Patek N8 full of water, I just immediately didn't care about what he was saying. As much as I like Takeoff and Cardi B's verse, it wasn't enough for me to call this an overall good song. It's very bland. With that being said, I have overall realized that the Migos can make 30 songs saying the exact same things, and every Migos fan will say all 30 songs are fire. If you say just one song out of that 30 isn't fire, they all gonna say, oh, this nigga capping. But once again, Motorsport definitely goes into that category of, I'm not trying to hear people say, this is one of their most favorite songs, this should be fire. The sales means nothing to me. That don't mean that every person in the world needs to like the song. Now, as some of y'all may have noticed, I haven't talked about any songs from Culture 3 being a skip. Now, don't think I don't have any songs from that album in the skip tier. I just wanted to save them to the end. My expectations weren't high going into the project, and there were still hella songs, more than half the album that I didn't rock with. So let's just get into what songs from the highly anticipated Migos project that I thought were just aight.
Light it up for a 50 ball, then I spend it on your bitch.
I wanted to like this song so bad because of the Wu feature, but unfortunately, Wu's verse was one of the reasons I didn't care for the song. Listening to his verse, I just shrugged and went, nah, I can't get with it. I will say though that this is one of the songs where based off sound, I know why someone will rock with it. However, I've seen like 3 different Migos Culture 3 ranked videos, and all 3 of them had lighted up as the #1 best song on the album. If this is the best track on the project, I think that shows you how mid a lot of the songs are on here. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think any of the songs in the skip tier are terrible. I think they're okay, and that's all.
40 on my hip, I had to fix my belt. Can't listen to critics cause they can't relate to shit I felt.
I'm not a huge fan of this beat at all. Like, that was instantly something that stuck out to me. I don't have nothing against like marching band sounding beats, but this one just didn't hit. My favorite line in the whole song was at the end of Takeoff's verse when he said, "We never went missing, we just chilling watching niggas from the top." It'd be cool to hear someone like know they this shit and they either better or more famous than a lot of other rappers, so they rub it in. But Malibu was another song I didn't really care about. Polo G didn't help the song that much, and when I got to this song, I was already getting disappointed in the album. I was like, nothing on this project is like going crazy. I'm hearing a lot of okay songs.
She wanna pop a G6. She sucking on dick until 6.
Modern Day is one of the songs on Culture 3 that falls into that I wouldn't put it on, but I wouldn't turn it off category. I just got really nothing out of this song. It's very cliche Migos to me. With that being said, I saw a lot of people calling this a great song and say it's one of the best on the album too, like top 3. And that's what I mean. I think that shows that Migos fans they have grown to not ask for much, because this is no different from a lot of other songs that they have.
I know my business, I'm grown. I'm trying to make me a before I'm gone. Yeah.
The slower hook on this song can probably put you to sleep for real. But what I said about Modern Day applies here too. It's one of the songs that overall I don't care for, but I wouldn't be mad if someone turned it on.
Let's roll. Straightening, straightening, yeah.
These niggas' comeback single after being gone for a good minute, and I didn't rock with it, y'all. Additionally, the hook by Quavo got old very fast. He did have some cool lines, like turn the pandemic to a bandemic. I still like that line. Only somebody from the Migos would say that. But after listening to this entire track multiple times, especially because it's one of the most popular on the album, I just went, nah, this song ain't all that.
She want a Birkin, I told her work it. She want a Birkin, I told her work it.
Jesus, speaking of hooks getting old fast, man, and just to let y'all know, I'm not saying a repetitive hook automatically makes a Migos song bad, because they have songs where they do that and I don't mind it. There are just other times like Jane where it just doesn't work at all. Also, this song is just really boring. I bought the bag just to brag. Whew, 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 whew. Like, man, like, talk about something that could have been removed from a 19-song album. This would have been taken off in a flash for me.
Type shit. This the type shit. Let's roll. This the type shit that get your bitch hit.
Cardi almost lost me with her verse. That accounting think I'm gay because all I do is buy shit line, and the bitches couldn't be as hot as me in the summertime with a blanket on. Like, she tried, because she did have some lines that were actually good in here. But overall, I tried to rock with this song hoping that one of the Migos members would save it, or the beat would save it, and I just couldn't. I know a lot of people would say Offset had a dope verse, but he didn't show up until the end of the song. So after like 5 listens, I just realized I don't really care for this track.
I made a 436 that apartment. I'm like Picasso, I paint me a portrait. I'm getting money, taking drugs with orphans.
I was so happy to hear Future's voice because it was like a breath of fresh air. And after my Am I Sleeping episode, you guys know that I like Future a lot now. Unfortunately, not even my new homeboy Future could save this song. Future's presence is the only thing that makes me very, very slightly enjoy it. But overall, I was like, yep, Picasso is another skip.
Pop out, what's up? We making money in quarantine.
The name of this song alone caught everybody's eye. We all saw they had a song called Vaccine and went, here we go. Let's see what this gonna be about. But Vaccine is another song that's a skip. When I first heard this track, I was 8 songs into Culture 3, and I just frowned a little bit and realized the first half of the album really isn't that good.
Run into the bank, track me. Bricks in the truck, roll, run a beat.
It was honestly very hard to listen to Culture 3 by the time Road Runner came up. I said, God damn, like I'm halfway through this album and this is already so drawn out and boring. The first half of Culture 3 is loaded with skips, and Road Runner was one of them.
Go. Get money, why not? Cash. I sell a brick on your block.
This was one of the better sounding skips on Culture 3, even though I don't care for the song. If I had to like pick one skip that I technically like the most, it would probably be Why Not. Okay, so y'all heard me slander some of their most famous songs like Slippery and Get Right With You, but it doesn't stop there. The Not For Me tier are songs where I do kind of understand why the songs are hits and why some of y'all may say I'm bugging for not liking them, but I really can't put the songs that high for my own enjoyment. I'm giving the songs credit where it's due, but I honestly can't rock with any of these tracks.
Mama told me, not to sell word. Mama 17.5.
I never realized how irritating Takeoff's flow was on this song. Same thing I said about his flow on Get Right With You. I was listening to it and like, how can y'all rock with this? Wrist on hockey, hockey, wrist on Rocky, Rocky. Lot of niggas copy. Huh. Name someone can stop me. I know this is like a top 10 Migos song to a lot of y'all, and it's easily one of their most popular and successful tracks. But I listened to it and realized I didn't really care for this song at all.
Walk it like I talk it, walk it. Walk it like I talk it, walk it. Walk it like I talk it, walk it, walk it.
As you guys can probably already guess, yes, it's the hook that has gotten annoying. That's why it's in this tier. Walk It Talk It has pretty much never been a song I've been a fan of because of the hook. The 3 verses from the Migos, I shouldn't have to explain. You already know it's the same stuff they always talk about. But having Drizzy on here was a nice touch. Like, he rides the beat smooth and he can spit as always. I had no problems with Drake. Had this hook not been this annoying, I would probably be a bigger fan of this song.
I just wanted to be recognized. I just wanted to be recognized.
Their singing was not it on this track. This was the perfect opportunity to end the Young Rich Nation album with something incredible. And I do love the meaning of the song, saying how all they've ever wanted was the recognition of being young hustlers out here doing what they got to do to get money. And now, of course, being famous rappers, they just want the recognition of being able to start off on such a hot streak and putting in so much work. So that's one of the reasons why I'll label it as a good song. But when it comes to their singer performance, like, that's what takes it away from me. Like, they tried a little bit too hard to make this a serious, important song to where it just comes off as preachy. And Quavo's vocals was just not it. It definitely took me out of it.
I get drugs for the right price, yeah.
Okay, let me say this. I don't get that angelic feeling when I listen to Travis Scott. Everyone says how his voice and harmonies just makes you melt, make you feel like you in outer space or even heaven. I literally have never gotten that vibe from him. And I think that's why I don't care to listen to him. For Kelly Price, this song is modeled after Travis's style. Like, this is pretty much a 6-minute Travis Scott song. It's one of the coolest songs I've heard from him. I'm just not high on the Travis praise like y'all are. And that's why I can't lie and say I enjoy it, because I don't really get anything from it if I'm being real.
Mama straight out the jungle. Yeah.
I will admit, this is one of the coolest and most creative songs I heard from these dudes. The South African like vibe they implemented into the song, like their production and even down to their ad-libs was all on point. With that being said, the South African vibe is not something I cared about, and it didn't make me go like, ooh, like this is fire, like this is hidden. I can admit it was really dope though, and this is one of the few songs on Culture 2 where you'll hear it and go like, wait a minute now, hold on, they own something. But I'm not about to lie and act like this is one of my favorite songs by them or anything. I will say Narcos is like a top 5 song from that album that I still wouldn't add to a playlist. Let's put it that way.
Dropped out of school, I didn't graduate. Oh no.
This nigga said, I walk in with the chains, call me Quavo Django. Wow. But pretty similar to what I said about Crown and Kings. Although I don't really think the verses on this song were anything special, there were no crazy good bars. Their flow wasn't anything different than usual. I do think the hook and the beat were good enough to where I wouldn't turn this song off if I heard it. It's a straight song about how, although they dropped out of school and their parents didn't have any bread, they were able to put their families in a much better position because they worked hard to get to where they are. But this just falls into the category of good meaning, but just whatever execution. If you think Work Hard is fire, I hear you. But for me, I wouldn't go back to it.
Top down on the north. I'm home.
This song is them representing their hometown, which is north of downtown Atlanta. That's where the North comes from, like North. I like Takeoff's mirror, mirror on the wall line where he said, mirror, mirror, who's the richest niggas of them all? The mirror spoke to me and said, no cap, I think it's y'all. I like that. The reason this song is in this tier is because it can be really boring. I know they were purposely going for a softer and slower tone to match the seriousness of the topic, kind of like Recognition. But this song is just such a slow track, and it doesn't have any energy to where while you're in the middle of listening to it, it all just blends in and it can just lose you.
I said I need it. This Draco undefeated. Some block and then I'm bleeding.
I do like that Youngboy shares the hook and the first verse with Offset. That was a unique structure instead of having like one generic verse and nothing else. This is one of the hardest songs on the album, and it actually helps that Youngboy was on it because he helped them get out of what would have been another generic Migos track. I don't come back to the song, but I can definitely appreciate the collab.
Outro, outro,